We'll gather around, feel the love compound. Blue elephant is strong, together we belong. In every comment right.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So we're going to do something a little different today. Now, for today, this is my part in the members only clock challenge that we are doing. It's the first challenge that we are actually have started on my channel, and we're going to be doing these monthly. So I decided that I wanted to go a little bit outside the box, and instead of doing a typical regular clock mold, I wanted to use this sunflower mold. Now this is Julie Cuts from Pouring Your Heart Out. This is her sunflower mold, but I don't want to do just a normal sunflower either. I kind of want to go rainbow-esque and black. I thought would be really cool. I've seen some pictures on Google that I'm kind of using for inspiration, and we're going to go with that. Now, in the center, I decided I want to go like a really dark blue, and then that's in the very, very center. And then the round part, like where your seeds and stuff are, I want to do black with a little bit of my colors mixed in. So in order to do this, I mixed up a few ounces of Let's Resin's epoxy resin, and I am dividing it into a crap ton of little cups, just a tiny bit because I don't need a lot. This is going to be, I'm going to do this in multiple pours. So I'm just trying to keep this in the very, very middle of the sunflower for now. And I am going pigment paste today. Now, the majority of them are Rolio's pigment pastes, and there's two that are metallics, and one that was one that I made like forever ago, and it's quite dried up, and honestly it's not even what I wanted to use because I didn't want the pearlescent look from like mica powders. That's why I'm going the pigment paste route. And this yellow, I used mica powder to make it, and it's dry. I would have put in some more resin, but I couldn't remember if I used part A or part B. So I didn't do that because if I picked the wrong one, then that would be a whole thing. So we're just going to use it like it is and see how it works, I guess. And we're going to use some glue. Now, hindsight, I'd have done this differently, a lot differently. The glue was not necessarily a great idea. One, I'm using such a tiny amount of resin that one drop of glue, which is what I put in it, was way, way, way too much, honestly. And two, I shouldn't have necessarily put it in the black. Like, I feel like in doing this, as I've been kind of playing around with the Elmer's glue and the various like pigment paste or micas, that it helps to have something that doesn't have the glue in it. Like, you need a little bit of movement. Now, I will be putting a little bit of clear down to kind of help that and have a buffer between the silicone mold and the colored resin so that it can move. Otherwise, if I put it directly onto the mold, it's not going to really go anywhere. It's just going to kind of lay how it is and not move. The other thing that I shouldn't have done is I was wrong. I didn't use epoxy resin. I used fast cure resin for this. So it was already thick. But I thought I didn't want it to move a lot. Like, I want some movement, but for the most part, I want it where I want it, and that's it. So, yeah, the glue idea was just it wasn't necessarily the best of ideas. Not in the fast cure anyway. Now, maybe have I done it in epoxy, that might have been different, but not for this. I mean, you can see how gloopy, like, it's not moving at all. So I just went ahead, I did spray this down with alcohol first, and that's trying to prevent bubbles from sticking to the surface because this is a very detailed mold. And now I'm going around the outer edge of the middle, and I'm just going to add just a little bit of clear resin. Again, this is my buffer for my colors so that they don't go just stay splat on the mold how I put them. I do want them a little bit of movement in there, a little bit of blending, but not too much. Now, the other thing that I should have done differently, and maybe this would have made more of a difference in the piece even with the glue, is after I'm done fiddling with the clear and kind of spreading it out, I lay my black down first. Now, again, if it was A, more resin in there, and B, not the fast cure, I think that it would have been maybe okay. But it's so thick. Like this part right here, just the little ring around the blue, I just want that straight black. So that part's fine. When I get more into the middle, that's where my problems are going to start, because the black, it like, to cut it off, it just all wants to come out in one big blob. Like if you think that if you've used the Elmer's glue trick before and you think it's gloopy putting 1 drop in, what is it, 2 ounces, or 2 drops in an ounce, or whatever the ratio is, that it's gloopy and hard to come, you kind of got to cut it with whatever stick you're using or whatever. This is like 100 times worse. So it all just wants to come out in one ball, which is not what I want at all, because then it gets a little tricky to spread it out. Anyway, I've said all of that to say that in doing this, I maybe should have put down my colors first, because when I put the black down, too much comes out. Where, yes, I want it predominantly black, I want to be able to see the colors. And in the finished piece, there's only tiny little bits where you can actually really, really, truly see the color coming through, and that's barely. Like, it just, see how thick it comes out? It's too much. Way too much, and it doesn't give me enough room. And me spreading it out isn't helping. It doesn't give me the room to where I put the colors on that they're gonna actually come through. Like, this may work from the back side, but not from the front side. Think about this. Okay, so when you have the glue in there, pigment paste or not, just the glue alone, it's making that resin heavier, correct? Yes. So had I done this, put the clear down, put the black down, but not have glue in the black, so it's thinner, right? Even with a fast cure resin, it's still going to be thinner and lighter than it would be adding the glue to it. And then put my colors on, then the colors might drop some because they're heavier to where you'd actually be able to see them. But now everything is the same weight because I have glue in the black, I have glue in the colors, so it's not going anywhere because there's no difference in weight that's causing your colors to drop or stay or whatever. So that's why I'm saying I think I should have not put it in the black at all, because then the colors, where yes, it looks like a hot mess now, but not all of it's going to drop, right? Some of it's going to drop, and then you'd be able to see it. Or add some of the colors in a better way than what I did here, and then add the black on top, and then you could take a dotting tool or a silicone tool or something like that and add your striations or whatever, just to give it a little bit more movement. Something like that. But it's still a learning curve. I'm still experimenting with different ways to do it like this so that I have more control over where my colors go. So it's definitely something that I have learned, and I know better for next time. That being said, even though it didn't come out the way that I envisioned in my head, it still turns out really, really pretty. All right, so around this outer edge, just where right before the petals start, I want that part to be black. Like, I don't want any color in that at all. So I did use up pretty much the most of the black that I had left, and now I'm just dragging it into those little areas right up against the petals to make it so that it's spread out more, because it's not going to move freely on its own because of the glue. And I'm just going to kind of finish fiddling with this. I'm going to bounce off while I do this, and then I'll be back for the next layer, and we will go through that together. I'll catch you guys on the flip side.
Out by the field where the wild winds play, a flower grew bold in the light of day. Its petals wore colors that stole the sky, a rainbow sunflower reaching high. Oh, rainbow sunflower dancing in the breeze. Hold the sunrise in the twilight seas. A miracle blooming like dreams come true. A world of color born right out of the blue.
Okay, so what I did was I just took the rest of the resin that I have and I'm just throwing it into some molds that I have set off to the side. Now in this one in particular, I already had some pink and white kind of mixed in there from another project that I was doing. So I'm just going to finish filling it up with whatever. Right now I'm going in with the purple and then I'm just going to, however it comes out, it comes out. It's an extra piece. I kind of like throwing in different colors and kind of just throwing them on the sides of the mold or whatever, because you can get some pretty cool pieces just doing stuff that you wouldn't typically do because it doesn't make sense. You just feel like you're going to waste your resin. Well, this is already resin that I'm not using, so why not? You never know what you're going to get unless you kind of start doing stuff like that. So doing it on a small scale with something left over, it works for me. And I'm just going to finish filling it up, and that's what I did. Now you saw I put all kinds of crazy colors in there, and we're going to just see what happens when we demold. We may not see a lot of them at all. Now this bear is one of my favorite pieces to kind of use as like a drip mold. And my daughter probably has like, I don't know, 20 of them already. But doing this, and actually not at the time, but when I was going through and editing this footage, this gives me some really cool ideas on something that I might try here in the near future. Because as you can see, I am just smearing it everywhere, right? There's no real rhyme or reason to what I'm doing. I'm just throwing it in there. I'm dragging it along the sides of the mold, and wherever it goes, it goes. And that's not done, it's done intentionally. Like I am putting it on the side of the mold for a reason. Will it stay? I don't know. But the chances are a little bit higher that it will, because it's fast cure and it's super, super thick because of that glue. Okay, so now this is about 4-ish hours later, maybe not quite. And I want to go ahead and get my second layer on. So this is going to be the super rainbowy, colorful part of the flower. Now, I had kind of gone back and forth on how to do this, if I wanted to do glue or not. After the experience with the glue last time, I don't know if I'm going to do that. So for this, I am now using Let's Resin's regular epoxy resin for this. And I mixed up, I think it was like 24 ounces, because this mold is huge. And I thought for sure that I'd use it all. And I have 8 colors, I think it is. So that's 3 ounces a piece of each color. And we're just going to see. Now, when I'm filling this up, I don't necessarily want to cover the back. Like there's 2 layers of petals, right? There's the bottom layer, which is what we're working on. And then a little bit, just a step higher, are those back petals. I'm not trying to get into the back petals. The back petals, I want to do something different. So I just want this in those front petals, and that's it. Now, again, I decided that I need more movement than what I felt I was getting with the glue. So we're not doing the glue in this. We are just going in with the pigment paste, mixing it up really well. And then I am wiping off my stick each and every time, and then giving it another quick mix just to make sure that all of that pigment paste is mixed up. I don't want any just chunks of pigment paste in there, because it will come off. It will create holes in your pieces, and it's just not something that you want. So when you think you mixed it up enough, wipe off your stick, mix it up again, and then you're good to go. And as I was kind of contemplating how I wanted to do this, I at first was going to go straight rainbow color all the way around, and then I saw a picture that I really liked, so I kind of want to see if I can kind of sort of make it happen. So when I put the colors in, you're going to be like, oh my God, what the hell is she doing? I'm trying to follow the color scheme of the way this picture looked online and see if it works. Now, my colors were not necessarily the right shades of color for this, but it's fine. The only thing that I'm really disliking about the whole thing, the blue, I wish I had a different color pigment paste for the blue. Like a deeper blue, more of like a royal blue, not this kind of powdered blue that we got going on. It's not my favorite color blue. And that yellow. That yellow is just awful. I thought I had a pigment paste, like an actual real pigment paste, not a Nicole made pigment paste. But I didn't, and I really needed to get this project going because I was, me and behind on it. It's just not, it's not good. It's not good at all. Like, you can see through it. I didn't want a see-through piece. You can see through it. You can see chunks in it. It's an horrible, ugly color. And yeah, I wish I had a real one. But anyway, we're going to do this again sometime in the future. Not right now. But I do want to do it, and I want to do it the way that I want it. So I'm just going to go in and pour all these colors. Now, the one thing that I've noticed, and I don't know if it's the mold, I'm leaning towards yes, it is, because I have leveled my tables and I've checked them all the time to make sure that they're level. And I haven't had any issue with my tables not being level. But there's an area and you can see like where that green is. All of that's coming up and over. So it's all kind of flowing in that direction. And I really think that this mold is not level. So I didn't necessarily catch it fast enough to be able to really truly do anything about it. By the time that I seen that I have it going up over the second set of leaves, it's kind of too late already. Like, I do go and pull some out, but not enough to make a difference. And honestly, all it was doing was mixing up the colors more than what I wanted them mixed. I wanted more separation. So there's that. Also, again, with hindsight, I started going in all like in the petals, pushing my dotting tool in there to make sure that there's no air pockets stuck in there in the tips. And then for some reason, I stopped. I only did a handful of them, and then I didn't do any more. And that was a huge mistake because I ended up with air bubbles on several petals, which is very unfortunate. And now I'm just going through, and towards the top, the resin is still not 100% dry where I put that black down, but towards the top, I'm just kind of giving it a swish around with my dotting tool, and that's just to kind of help blend the colors a little bit more. We'll see what happens. I really don't know at this point. All I know is that I'm hating the yellow. It looks a hot mess. Trust the process, right? We'll see what it looks like on the other side. Remember, it's more in how we lay it down and what hits the silicone than what is on the back. That matters when you're working this way around on your mold. Okay, now it is time for our final layer. And I am using the Fast Cure resin again for this. Just finishing mixing it up, and I did close to, I want to say 8 ounces, like it's probably closer to 6 in here because the cup was very, very full. Adding my black pigment paste to it. I'm not sure how much more this is going to take, and we're going to see. Now, with the resin that I mixed up before with the colors, I had a lot left over. I thought I recorded me filling up the molds, those extra molds the rest of the way, but I guess I didn't. So that is what I did with the excess resin that I had left over. And I mean, I had a lot. So we'll be demolding those here later on. All right, giving it a really good mix. And now it's time to clean off any little dried resin beads that are around the side of the mold because I don't want those on there. And you can see how much it just went up over the rest of it, like into those second layer of petals. My plan initially was to do an all black layer on the back of it so that those petals in the middle would just really like go bam. It didn't work out that way. Again, hindsight, but we're just going to go with how it is and see how it turns out. And now I'm just pouring my resin around. We're going to go drag it into all the corners. Now I will have to make up more because I did not make up nearly enough. And I'm just going to I'm going to bounce off while I finish going through this step, and then I'll be back when we're ready to demold.
Filling up the air. Brushes, pens, their magic's true. Artists support us, they see it through. Blue elephant crew, they rise so high, painting dreams across the sky. Gifted hands with hearts so sweet. This channel thrives with their beat. Challenge accepted, they never back down. Creative sparks lighting up this town. Vivid colors, they draw the line, turning moments into designs divine. Oh, the love they give's like a tidal wave, helping hands for the space we crave. From lines to swirls, they're warriors bold, bringing warmth like stories told. Blue elephant crew, they rise so high, painting dreams across the sky. Gifted hands with hearts so sweet. This channel thrives with their beat. Behind the screens or out in sight, they pour art and love with all their might, leaning strong on the bonds they weave, a proof of wonders they believe. Blue elephant crew, they rise so high, painting dreams across the sky. Gifted hands with hearts so sweet. This channel thrives with their beat. Behind the screens or out in sight, they pour art and love with all their might, leaning strong on the bonds they weave, a proof of wonders they believe. Blue elephant crew, they rise so high, painting dreams across the sky. Gifted hands with hearts so sweet. This channel thrives with their beat.
All right, quick hit with the heat gun, and we're gonna let this baby cure, and fingers crossed it comes out semi-good. Okay, 24 hours later, it's finally time to do this, and this part is gonna take forever. So I am going around and loosening each petal up first, and there's a lot. This is a huge mold. This is probably like a good 12 inches, I would guess. Not having measured it, but it's at least that. Anyway, sometime today, please. And now it's time to do the second set. And at this point, I can already tell that I got some air bubbles, which again is very, very unfortunate. I was super upset about that, because it's a lot of resin, and it's not like I can just fix this with UV resin, because to get the opacity and whatever that the pigment paste is, it's just not going to work. So we'll see. All right, are you guys ready? Here we go. Okay, so initial thoughts, I hate the yellow. Don't know exactly what's going on with that blue at the bottom. I can't figure out why there's black seeping through it, because there shouldn't be. I didn't use any black on that layer at all, so I don't know what that is about, unless, you know what? I bet that's the teal. Why is that coming out so weird? It's almost like it's got spots of black in it. That's really weird. I don't know. You can see what I'm talking about right near the bottom where the yellow is, where you can see that just a little bit of color coming through. I wanted more of that in the center, but I didn't get it. And it's because I had too much black, but it's fine. It's fine. We're going to fix it up and we're going to keep on keeping on, but let's demold these extras right now just to see what happens and how they ended up turning out. Now, you can see the purple through it, and obviously that kind of pinky color is what I already had in there. But you can't see any of the other colors, but I think it looks really cool. I really like the effect of that one a lot. This one, it was not ready. Those petals were too thin, so we're gonna put that back off to the side, and it's gonna finish curing. And then we're gonna demold this. It's just a little jar type deal. I don't know. It's something new. I really like the design on the back, and I was really hoping that it would come out on the front because that would have been super cool. But of course, because of the way I poured it, it didn't. But I love the back. Love it. If I could make that happen on the front, that would be super cool. Of course, it does look like, I don't know. I don't know. It would be really cool though. But this bear is all of the things. Let me just tell you, I love how this turned out. It is so different and so unique, and it looks like a couple of things. I personally am calling him my little chaos bear because he is definitely chaotic. Um he looks like a toddler went to town on him and crayons just like melted all in it. Like it's super cool looking. I love the way, especially the back of him, just the way those colors just kind of laid on there. Like super cool. Can you imagine what you could do with that if you like purposefully did the colors, like maybe better matching colors as far as for that purpose goes? It would be cool. All right, so butterflies is what I'm going to use to kind of go over where these holes are on this. Now, I had my husband drill the hole for me because my drill set is not equipped for a hole that large to put the clock mechanism through. So I had him do it, and he did it off center, which is why I didn't want to do it. But at least it's not my fault. But anyway, it's fine. It's not that far off. It'll be fine. All right, so screwed that in. Now it's time to put the washer and the nut on. Screw that in. We're going to put on our actual hands, and then we're going to do the butterflies. Now, the reason that I'm actually doing the hands and all of that first is I want to make sure that when I put the butterflies down, they're not going to get in the way of the hands. This way I can move them. If I glued them on first, they're there, and then I have to pick a smaller set of hands. You don't want to go super, super small with a clock this big because it will just look ridiculous. So I do want to make sure that while, yes, I need to hide the holes that are in the tips of the petals, at the same time, I, I, I don't want to have any issues with the placement of them. Make sense? So we're just going to put this on, and then we're going to get a little bit of E6000 glue and glue these butterflies on. Now, there's only two of them that I need to actually cover the holes. The third one is just because in crafts, things are kind of done better in odd numbers. So that is why I'm going with the third one. And yeah, I did take, now, if you guys seen a video from way back where I attempted to make butterfly wind chimes, these are those butterflies. I have not figured out the wind chime thing. Honestly, I haven't even had time to go back to it to try to figure it out. It is something that I want to touch up on again and see if I can, but I've been making use of those butterflies in the meantime, and this is what they are going to be used for today. So, I mean, I thought it works out, right? Now, they do have a hole in the kind of like right up near their head, and I just put a large black rhinestone up there just to kind of cover that so that you didn't see the hole. And I mean, it goes with the other rhinestones that I put on it already, so it's fine. It'll be fine. Now, I am proud of myself. I had really, really contemplated with putting some rhinestones just around that middle black ring in there, but I refrained from doing it, and I did not. all in all, I think it's pretty. It definitely, like, there are definitely improvements that I can make and I will make again on it because I do really like the idea of this and I think it's going to be super cool. But for now, let's go for the moment that you've all been waiting for. The results are in for the winner of the very first members only challenge of the clock is, are you guys ready for it? Here we go. Lynn Morris. Congratulations, Lynn. You won the challenge this month. All right, guys, get ready for the next month's challenge. We will be doing the drawing for that soon. Anyway, that's a wrap on this one, guys. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. I will see you on Saturday in the next one. Love ya. Bye.
Together we belong. In every comment right, you lift me to new heights. Your support, it's clear, gives me reason to cheer. Blue elephant crew.